Hello and welcome to the 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge, wherein I have run out of topics, quite literally. Today I have nothing. I thought I only had 2 days left, but I had 3 days left because this challenge forever torments you. And so I thought I would I don't know. I literally don't know what this is. Oh, I know. I'll just look at the Discord. There's probably questions. There's probably like video suggestions. If you haven't okay, let's just do this. Okay. Nugget asks how to gain motivation to write your side characters. Okay, how do you gain the motivation to write your main characters? I find the main characters are the most boring people in the house. I just get so bored of my main characters that I'm just I want to write my side characters. Just give them interesting personalities. Just spend as much time with your side characters as you would your background characters. That's really the gist of it. If your side character is boring, you really have to dissect why they're boring to you. Sorry, my toe really hurts. Yeah, just really get into them. I like to do character bios sometimes. Those are helpful. Just look up character bios or character Q&As. You usually can find sort of those kind of sheets where everything's written out and you just fill them out as you please. Those are really good. I'd recommend that for your side characters. And also making sure to flesh out their plot. Side characters are sweetums, and you just gotta recognize how sweet they are. And then eventually you get so sad that they're not your main character, and that's how you know you're doing your side characters properly. How to design a character for those who have troubles translating what's in their head onto paper, including coming up with character designs in general, especially for large casts of characters. We have so many videos on designing characters. Think about them in terms of shapes. Write down their personality traits that you're trying to get across. Character designs are basically they're descriptions of their own. They say something about a character. And if you can't get what's in your head onto paper, try not to think too hard about what your pre-existing idea is for a character, and just explore and have fun. Please do a video about all of your pets. Oh my god, yes. Okay. If you haven't heard, we have 1 million pets. I have a whole bunch of fish. I have a lizard named Al. He's a blue-tongued skink. I have 3 dogs now, Serena, Matica, and Fado. And I have 2 cats, Lear and Amalthea. Yeah, they are all terrible. Would not recommend pets ever. One of them is peed on the floor. We don't know which one, and it has been impossible to clean. We have tried literally everything, and it's come to the point where it's just we're gonna replace the carpets. That's literally where I was right before now, was looking into replacing the carpets. So man, hopefully that's gonna be a vlog thing where we're ripping up carpets and then hiring someone to put it in, because putting them back in sounds like the pain in the butt part. So I can destroy, but I cannot create. How do you write sexual characters if you're ace? Oh, quote unquote sexual. I think it's called allosexual. There's asexual and allosexual. Allosexual are people who experience sexual desires, whereas asexual people don't, in varying degrees. How do you write them? Just read that kind of stuff if you want to. There's a lot of examples for you to look at about characters who are into that sort of stuff. And also write asexual characters, because there's not enough of those. So make sure to fill your worlds with tons of aces first and foremost, and then worry about giving the allos a boost. Video on why some diversity in the cast can be good. Diversity is amazing. Diversity just makes your stories more interesting. Sexual, romantic orientation, gender, ethnicity, body shapes, personalities. It's just way more interesting. Different body shapes and different types of people, for one, are easier to tell apart. There's more of a story kind of built in if you have a minority voice. I super recommend doing own voices. I tend to shy away from writing own voices stories. Own voices being stories where you are speaking to your own experience as a minority or whatever. Those are super cool. I tend to stray away from them for no reason because I feel like I'm writing a self-insert, but there's a million straight cis white self-inserts out there. There can be all sorts of non-cis, non-white well, I guess it was like trans, POC, gay, amazing self-inserts too, because we need self-inserts as well, man. And heck, everyone's allowed to power fantasy. Go for it. There's my really quick answer to that one. Raven Underhill asks, continuing with the foreshadowing theme, can you maybe share some other ways on showing things visually? Like, I get how to add it into dialogue, story, and plot, but how, outside of ribbon around the neck, do you add something subtle to a character design? Okay, so how do you subtly imply foreshadowing with the character design? It's really hard and very specific to whatever it is you're writing. Like, ribbon around the neck, implying that at some point that like the head's gonna come off, is a nice one. It's really hard. I can't think of them off the spot, and you kind of have to be really creative with them and lean into illusion being making references to material outside of that. Leaning into symbolism can also be very helpful for creating kind of foreshadowing in a character. I can't think of specific examples, but I hope that gives you some sort of direction there. Could you talk about plot structures besides the 3-act structure and hero's journey? I think I mentioned this, but you can build stories in other ways. Those are perfectly fine. It's a lot easier to build off of the 3-act structure and hero's journey, and there's so many different ways you can take it. I've mentioned at some point that I was going to do like fairy tales, like retold in 3-act structure in different ways to create different stories and kind of show you how you would do that. I might still do that because that sounds like a good idea and y'all keep bugging me for it, so maybe I'll do it. Any tips on determining what perspective, camera angle works best for what you're trying to convey in panels? I'd really look into film theory. Perspective has a general language, like there's a general way that you use it. Looking down on things kind of implies looking down on things. The way you think of it is you place yourself in where the camera is, and you kind of assess what that means, I guess. Like, think of the camera as a character, and think of like what it means for them to be placed like on the floor looking up. Like, that would imply that whatever they're looking at is like greater than them, whereas if you're looking down, it gives you kind of a sense of spying. There's a certain element of like POV to it, I'd imagine. I don't know, I'm not the artist, so take this with a grain of salt, but think of yourself as the camera. There you go, that's my advice. Do you have any advice on managing comics, school, and college? I think we did a video on this, but basically schedule time, keep your comic time holy, and if you literally can't do it, just keep comics as a hobby and use it to have fun. There's no use in making comics some horrible thing that you have to make money from. Just have fun. If you're struggling through college and work, just let comics be fun. Okay. Before starting a longer comic, would it be a good idea to do a way shorter comic with a minor character from that same story? Okay, I think we've answered these questions. Like, I think I've gotten to the point where all of these ones have been answered already. So there you go. I did it. I made a video. Are you proud of me? I'm not proud of me. I want to go rip up my floor, but I'm not going to do that because we haven't planned out everything perfectly yet. But once I do, I'm going to hulk out on my floor. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know what this is. Goodbye.